The first place in strategic order that all of this information feeds into is the product market strategy function. Whether this is a separate group of people or a committee or however you do it in your company is flexible. But in strategic order, this is the first place that information goes. And here's where you define your opportunities in the marketplace and product space, the objectives, and the strategy for each one of those product market spaces. This is an area in which there is a well-developed set of management tools to use. You can go after, there are lots of matrices and lots of methodologies here, and you're probably familiar with all these tools, but you can go after solution strategies, that is product strategies. You can go after market strategies. You have a market opportunity. You can have to go after an integrative opportunity. There's vertical and horizontal opportunities. There's the issue of strategic fit with what you're doing, where the company is going. There's portfolio management. You have to consider the competitive responses, the value proposition you're bringing to the market, and the good old SWOT, SWOT analysis is always useful here. These tools are used to define things like the who, the customer you're going after, what you're going to bring to them, how you're going to get it to them, the channels, etc. The positioning you're going to have, how it dovetails with your brand strategy, where it is in your life cycle. I mean, these kinds of areas are well developed in terms of their strategic analysis right now in the company. These and others. It's the idea of starting to integrate these tools into an integrated model of marketing, to an integrated model of product market strategy and its implementation that's new here. So, number one, have a deep understanding of the environment you work in. Number two, feed that information into your product strategy function where you've already got a good portfolio of tools to use. And now out of that comes what you're actually going to do. Next in strategic order, after you've used all these tools to define your product market strategy and the opportunities you're pursuing, the objectives you're trying to reach, and the strategy you're going to use to reach them, is to feed that information, that direction, along with the appropriate amount of environmental information into your product development function, and perhaps a little later, perhaps concurrently, depending on your business, into the sales and promotional areas of your business. Obviously, from here, from product market strategy, you obviously have to go to product development. This is a very well-defined process in most well-managed companies today. However many stages or whatever you use, the specifications there are very well known. In fact, if you talk to most product development practitioners these days, they will tell you that the weak link is this kind of information and this kind of information. They've got a great product development engine in most cases, but they lack an appropriate amount of marketing detail and marketing direction as to exactly what they need to make for the market. Obviously, whatever product you sell is going to have to feed into a sales engine and a promotional engine, and it may be appropriate at the same time you kick this off that you start to feed information in here too, depending on how far ahead you sell, how much you sell futures. Or this may be a little bit later down in the timeline. Also, there's got to be some direction from here to here. There should be an arrow going from here to here, because at different stages, as you progress down the product development cycle, you need to keep your salespeople and your promotional people more and more in tune with what you're doing. Maybe way back here at stage 0, you want to keep them in the dark. There's certainly a danger with salespeople selling futures too far in advance. But as you get farther down here, at some point you've got to start to get them in the loop, get them prepared, get their feedback, because they're going to be integral, not just in selling the product once it's made, but they're going to be integral in getting you feedback into the final stages as you start to do your beta testing. Now we're beginning to see what a robust marketing process model looks like. That is marketing with a big M, marketing that really drives product market strategy and drives that strategy into implementation. This is just the very top level. Obviously, each one of these areas breaks down, and those areas, sub-areas break down, and in the process model we use, there's about 220 separate elements. And that doesn't really get down to the individual activities yet, but that's just the elements that you can manage. This process model starts to look really complicated when you start to add in feedback loops. Because clearly, when product development is doing something and they run into a snag or whatever, they need to feed back into product market strategy. Some tweaks have to happen here. These people are always calling for more information from these people. These people are cycling information in various time slices. That is, some people want really long-range stuff. Some people need some really up-to-date stuff, like the salespeople need really up-to-date stuff that doesn't really particularly affect these people. Once you start to add in all the millions, not really millions, but all the probably hundreds of feedback loops that are in here, it gets to be a fairly complicated model. Well, it's fairly complicated because running a competitive business these days is fairly complicated. This is the reason that we don't have an algorithm to do this yet. It's the reason human beings do it is because it's so complicated that it actually requires some human intelligence. Now imagine this whole marketing process model cycling with the output of good products being effectively sold and promoted. This whole thing can be managed with well-developed process management tools. The same process management tools that manage your manufacturing floor can manage this process, not because this is manufacturing, but because this is a process. And those tools that manage your manufacturing floor aren't manufacturing tools, they're process management tools. The ones that are relevant to a robust, integrated, overarching marketing process model like this are process management, constraint analysis, continuous improvement, and lean thinking. So once you start to put this whole package together, now you've got a highly functional marketing process model driving an effective marketing process in your company. And the people that master this first are going to be the people, going to be the enterprises in the second decade of the 21st century that lead their industries with competitive advantage.